Hello, this is Sarah Braasch, and this is my video where I address Yale University, specifically the administration and the campus police. And this is my Dear Yale, I have some questions for you video. And I think that probably most people who are watching this video know that I am Sarah Braasch. I am the PhD candidate in philosophy at Yale who was falsely accused of having perpetrated a hate crime comparable to a lynching. I am the purported villain of the living or napping while black incident at Yale, but in point of fact, I am the entirely innocent victim of the living or napping while black hate crime hoax at Yale. And I have some questions for the Yale administration, specifically for Yale President Peter Salovey, but for the entire Yale administration. I would like to ask you when you're going to tell the truth, the simple, honest-to-God truth about the living or napping while black hate crime hoax at Yale, and save my life and lifelong human and civil rights, academic and legal careers. I would like to ask when you're going to release to the public the Yale police body camera footage that they should rightly have that exposes you as disgusting liars who perpetrated a global defamation and vilification campaign against me, knowing that I was an entirely innocent anti-racism Yale grad student, and you did this to incite my murder, drive me to suicide, and to get me killed, to cover up your gross, woke malfeasance and your lies and your wrongdoing, your evil wrongdoing. And I want to know when you're going to tell the truth. When you're going to tell the truth, when you're going to honor my FERPA request for all of the internal Yale emails about the living or napping while black hate crime hoax at Yale, so that it will expose your complicity, your gross complicity in not only the hate crime hoax itself, but also the way that you orchestrated the entire global defamation and vilification campaign against me that almost got me killed, knowing that I was a completely innocent person, knowing that it was a public campaign to shame me for my mental health disabilities, knowing that you had grossly violated my federal civil rights, including under Title VI and Title IX. When are you going to tell the truth? When are you going to tell the truth that you embraced this obviously and patently false accusation against me that I had perpetrated a hate crime comparable to a lynching on February 24th, 2018, and the reason why that you embraced this patently false accusation against me was because you had been targeting me for years, and you had been targeting me for years for being a civil libertarian, for being a free speech advocate, for standing up during my first year in the PhD program at Yale for the federal civil rights of an evangelical black man at Yale, for fighting for a black man to gain access to the white space of Yale. And I want you, Yale President Peter Salovey, to admit that you rewarded Yale sociology professor Elijah Anderson with a sterling professorship, the highest honor that a professor can receive at Yale, because he helped you try to get me killed by defaming me around the world as a genocidal villain who lynches black students at Yale. And I want you, Yale President Peter Salovey, to admit that you gave Roxane Gay, you rewarded her with a visiting professorship for helping you, for participating in the witch hunt against me that almost got me killed. And I want you to admit that you named your new vast Maoist DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucracy after me by calling it belonging at Yale, based upon the disgusting lie that Lolita Ciambola and Jean-Louis Renison told about me, that I told Jean-Louis Renison on February 24th, 2018, that he didn't belong there. Something that I never said, something that I never would have said. The fact that you named your entire new vast Maoist DEI bureaucracy after me, after a lie about me, a disgusting lie about me, shows that your entire DEI bureaucracy belonging at Yale is a campaign to get me killed. To knowingly drive me to suicide. You did this knowing that I have mental health disabilities. You're doing this to drive me to suicide, to cover up your own gross woke malfeasance. You're doing this because I dared to be unwoke, because I dared to be a civil libertarian, because I dared to stand up for the federal civil rights of an evangelical black man at Yale. And that is why I was ostracized at Yale, along with the fact that I was ostracized at Yale for being construed as a poor white trash, a crazy old poor white trash interloper. And that is why you chose me to fill the role of your Nazi in perpetrating the living or napping while black hate crime hoax at Yale. And I want you to admit this to the entire world. And I want you to admit to the entire world that Yale General Counsel withdrew the racial component of the harassment charges against me in July 2018. And I want you to admit that Yale General Counsel in July 2018 admitted that there was no reason to think that I had ever done anything racist in my entire life. And that this happened before Yale President Peter Salovey's grossly defamatory, disgustingly bigoted, what amounts to a death threat against me, that his public statement on August 1st, 2018, which precluded the possibility of me receiving any due process whatsoever or a fair trial. This was before my hearing. He publicly condemned me as guilty of racial harassment, and he did this knowing I was suicidal, knowing I was in hiding, knowing I was being deluged by death threats and rape threats and threats of violence. And he did this after Yale General Counsel admitted that I had never engaged in racial harassment and dropped the racial component of the charges against me. So he lied. He lied. He was trying to get me killed to cover up his own gross, woke wrongdoing. And he lied, and he knew he was lying, and he knew I was innocent. And Yale grad school dean Lynn Cooley knew I was innocent of the false racial harassment charges that she levied against me. And I want them to admit that all of their actions since then, banning me from campus, banning me from teaching at Yale, their disgusting, 21CP report, Professor Reese report about me, their Title VI review that was just another attempt to get me killed. I want you to admit all of that. Shame on you. Shame on you for what you did to me. You did this because you know that I am the proof that woke intersectional feminism and critical race theory is utter bigotry and stupidity. And that's why you chose me to fill the role of your Nazi, to justify the enormous salaries that you're paying for your vast new DEI bureaucracy, Maoist bureaucracy named after me, belonging at Yale. And I want you to admit all of that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great night.